Nearly 3,000 people lost their lives in the September 11th terrorist attacks. This year marks the 10th anniversary. Only 30 cities across the nation will hold exhibits to mark that anniversary, and one of them is Mobile. Relics of the most tragic attacks to ever happen on U.S. soil are now on display at the Museum of Mobile.
Everything that you would need to understand walking through from the day that the World Trade Center collapsed through a year later when they finalized the collection of and recovery of.
That is the recovery efforts to locate human remains, personal objects, and material evidence following the terror attacks on September 11th. It's all part of the museum's exhibit called Recovery, the World Trade Center Recovery Operation, which opens on the 10th anniversary of the deadly attacks.
Recovery is such a great name for this exhibit because hopefully it brings about everything that we need to do as a nation to come back to being whole again.
50 artifacts and 50 photographs, along with interpretive text on pieces found near the World Trade Center, like this American flag, firearms, sections of the building facade, and an officer's motorcycle. But perhaps the most haunting, this boot, pulled from a firefighter buried in the rubble. The exhibit is meant to evoke emotion, but solely for healing.
Just that sheer terror, sheer shock of not knowing what had just happened and the ability to process it.
Firefighters, engineers, contractors, police officers, and volunteers eventually removed 1.8 million tons of debris from Ground Zero. They took it all to a landfill on Staten Island in an effort to honor those lives lost and others who are still recovering today. The USS New York, built by Northrop Grumman in Pascagoula, was made in part from steel from the destroyed towers. The museum says visitors can be a part of this exhibit too. This memory wall will be placed outside the exhibit so people can look back and add their thoughts of what they were doing and where they were when they learned of the first tower being attacked. After all, they say healing is part of the recovery. Mobile is the first city outside of New York to have that recovery exhibit. It opens Sunday, September 11th and runs through December. All first responders in the area are invited to see the exhibit on opening day with their families at no charge.